The environmental issue of water pollution in New Zealand is becoming an ever-increasing problem. Studies show that 96% of waterways are too polluted to swim in. As a nation that relies hugely on water for agriculture and recreational purposes, there is a need to address this issue before it completely ruins our natural environment. Our business idea is a product called Waste-Away. It proposes an irrigation-like filter system that is connected to the runoff drains on farms. It filters all water that passes through the drains, removing chemicals and contaminants before they enter our waterways. This presentation will discuss and apply Kant's ethical theory, sustainability, kaitiakitanga and stakeholder interest to our business idea. Ethics is defined as a study of morals that govern a person's actions. Kant called his absolute ethical rule the categorical imperative, providing two formulas: the principle of universal acceptability and treating other people as an end in themselves, never merely as a means. Our business idea addresses the unethical practice of farmers allowing contaminants to enter our waterways. Farmers that currently allow runoff to directly enter waterways are damaging the environment. Kant would deem this action to be unethical based on his formula of universal acceptability. In order for this action to be universally accepted, it must be willed on by everyone. Polluting waterways won't be willed to the maxim of our action, thus meaning it won't become a universal law. Morally, the right action is to implement a filtration system that keeps our waterways clean. Applying Kant's second formula, we can conclude that by polluting waterways, farmers are treating people and the biosphere that rely on the waterways to survive as a means to an end, not as an end in themselves. In Kant's second formula, this action would be deemed to be unethical based on the fact that it treats humanity and the environment as a means to an end and doesn't respect all human interests. Sustainability seeks to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability to meet the needs of future generations. Businesses can demonstrate weak or strong sustainability. Weak sustainability is where values and aims are primarily for economic gain, whereas strong sustainability demonstrates a focus on human well-being and a less is more approach. Three main dimensions of sustainability are: economic, which focuses on the monetary system; environmental is the natural environment; and social relates to society or people in an organisation. Current behaviours of New Zealand farmers demonstrate weak sustainability. Farmers are willing to damage national water stocks in return for larger economic gains, as they can dispose effluent at little to no cost. Farming isn't the only contributor to water pollution, but with 55% of land use being for farming purposes, adopting more sustainable business practices will help reduce the impact of such issues. Installing an irrigation filter for waste produced during the process of farming would demonstrate relatively strong sustainability. Effluent would be treated with the majority of contaminants being removed before they enter waterways around New Zealand. The economic dimension looks at how reclaimed water can be reused or sold to the public. Recycled water is most commonly used for non-potable purposes. By implementing this filtration system, less money will be spent on cleaning the damage pollution does to waterways and can be spent on other more important things. Environmentally, it will reduce pollution levels in waterways, slowing the rate at which water becomes undrinkable and unsafe. The societal dimension dictates farmers that implement the filtration system will no longer need to be concerned about their contribution to the destruction of waterways, and they will be contributing to maintaining clean water systems for future generations. However, we do appreciate the positive effect farming has on the New Zealand economy, providing 35,000 jobs and contributing $10.4 billion to the economy each year. But there is a need to balance our economic priorities with environmental and social needs. Kaitiakitanga is defined as guardianship and protection of the land. We as humans are stewards, endowed with a mandate to use the agency of our mana to create a sense of Māori order. Our water filtration system respects the practice of kaitiakitanga as it removes contaminants from effluent before it gets a chance to enter waterways and further pollute our country. As a tangata te whenua of the land, we use our mana to make the right decision regarding our waterways. Water is taonga, which we must protect. However, we understand a balance of kotahitanga must be reached in order to show manaki to all the people who rely on waterways to live. Stakeholders are people with an interest or concern in something, especially a business. Stakeholders who have a high interest and higher power are deemed most important. These stakeholders in the issue of water pollution are dairy farmers, the government and the local community. Dairy farmers have great influence on water pollution because nitrogen and phosphates from fertilizers and cow urine are heavily leached into waterways. However, we appreciate they have the right to farm the land as they are the rightful owners. Government plays a huge part in maintaining our waterways and ensuring that they are safe for the general population. The government in New Zealand is devoted to continuous engagement with iwi and Māori on water management options, with a key feature regarding kaitiakitanga. This is governed by commitments under the Treaty of Waitangi. The local communities are the third stakeholders. They have a moral and individual right to accept that waterways are clean and safe to swim in. Reports show 96% of waterways tested were too unsafe to swim in. This is backed up with a figure of an estimated 30,000 people contracting waterborne diseases each year.